It's rather tough. They're only human. They do their best not to think of Matt and what he used to be. To Foggy Nelson, he was a partner and best friend. To Gloriana O'Brien, he was the man she used to love. They do their best. But when the call is made and Glory answers the phone, their fantasy is quickly brought to a halt. The window's closed, but you'd never know it. Not with the stiff breeze that's blowing through it, giving Matt a sweetheart of a cramp in his lower back. 6 inches of snow outside, and still no heat in the room. And here he'd planned on staying at the plaza. That was before Matt discovered that the IRS had made his credit cards so much worthless than plastic. He has $10 to his name, and he found a hotel that made change. Place smells like rat hair. He'd much rather stay with a friend. Show him one, and he'll stay with them, he thinks. Show him one single person in the world who hasn't betrayed him. Just a few days ago, Matt was a pillar of his community, a respected figure in his profession, not to mention his sideline of being a superhero. Now, he's just a blind man. A blind man who's lost his job, his livelihood, his home, his girl, who fate gave the ability to hear and smell and touch better than anybody in the world can, which is a great way to catch all the misery of being alive. Just a few days ago, no, Matt should have seen all this coming. Started months ago. Things going wrong for him. Just little things at first. The kind you try not to notice. The kind that don't add up until you want it to. For the longest time, Matt chalked it up to unpleasant circumstance. He's just that kind of guy. Took a lot to convince him of what's really going on. Fact is, the first time he had thought it sounded like it didn't make any sense. But the evidence kept piling up. The phone company, the power company, internal revenue, the grand jury, his best friend, his lover. The list goes on. All of them out to get Matt. No, it's the Kingpin. The Kingpin. Yes, he's the only real enemy Matt has, he thinks. Matt's caused him a lot of trouble fighting crime. Since that's his business, it follows that Matt had caused him trouble. It makes sense that Matt caused him trouble. It's the Kingpin, he thinks again. Somehow, he found out Matt's Daredevil. He bribed and threatened everybody it took to destroy Matt. Matt's given this a lot of thought. That's why he hasn't left his room. To think and put it together. A plan. And to get enough sleep. He seems to need so much sleep. But it's all worked out now. He's got his strategy. He's going to go to the Kingpin, and he's going to kill him. No, Matt won't kill him. He doesn't do that. He'll just beat him until the Kingpin promises to give Matt his life back. That's the plan. Right after he gets some sleep. Elsewhere, the man stands. He is the Lord of Crime. He has gathered the warring gangs of the city, organized them into an army. No, a business. So efficient and so profitable that the city's economy depends on thieves, extortionists, and murderers at his command. He is the Kingpin. And Matthew Murdock had cost him little, but hounded him, annoyed him, as a fly would. Now, with all the joy of a malicious child, the Kingpin tortures the fly. It began with the revelation of Daredevil's weak side, his secret identity. With a few brief phone calls, the Kingpin shattered Murdock's life, beyond all hope of reconstruction. That would have been the end of it, were it not for the sweet discovery that Matthew Murdock is a man on the edge. That even before his ruin, he was nearly mad. Were Murdock tied to a rack, slowly torn limb from limb, begging for mercy, the spectacle could be no more pleasurable to behold. The Kingpin looks at his city and thinks of how wonderful it is to be alive. Back at the hotel, Matt lays in his bed, awake, but unmoving. He hears 2 blocks away some idiot is playing a radio. The big kind. It's stuck between stations, but that doesn't stop the idiot from playing it loud. It's spitting out half words that make no sense and static that makes anyone in earshot feel like a Rice Krispie. And Matt's always in earshot. Always. That car alarm won't ease up either. Doesn't care how tired he is. So, he might as well get up, he decides. Might as well walk out the door. Get something to eat. He's just gotta walk out the door. He's got $2 left. That's enough for him to buy some breakfast. He'll get some food in him and he'll be fine. Then he'll hit the gym. No gym. The Kingpin blew it up. Maybe he'll hit the Kingpin. He'd make a good punching bag. He's certainly fat enough. I just gotta walk out the door, Matt thinks again, as he puts his clothes on and approaches the exit. He walks out, and a kind stranger gives him a ride uptown to the Kingpin's headquarters, and he punches the Kingpin out, and the Kingpin begs for mercy to the police, and everyone knows it was him who beat him up, and there's a parade. Suddenly, Matt's awake. He must have dozed back off, he decides. He remembers he was about to leave and he was turning the doorknob. And then Matt reaches for the phone sitting on the bedside table. I'm not calling Glory again. He tries convincing himself. She doesn't deserve me. It's the operator I'm calling to find out what time it is. A phone rings within the apartment of Foggy Nelson. Foggy reaches for the device, but Glory is quicker to snatch it up. What she hears breaks her heart. "Let me speak with him, Glory," Foggy tells her. "Matt, this is Foggy." He hung up. What the devil is wrong with him? He wonders. Glory begins to sob and buries her face within his chest. But the phone rings again. More quickly this time, Foggy answers the call. "I'm on to you, Nelson," Matt spits before hanging up once again. Matt sits on his hotel bed, almost proud of himself. Then it happens. Footsteps in the hallway. Coming his way. Coming closer. Closer. The guy's breathing through his mouth, like fat people do. Wheezing. Grunting. Stopping. Stopping right outside his door. Right outside his door. There's a knock at the door, and then a muttered curse. Then keys jangling. Then the lock turning. "Checkout was at noon, bum." The clerk from the front desk of the motel cracks open the door. "So give with $8 or you're out on your..." The worker is cut off mid-sentence when Matt chokes him while squeezing onto a pressure point that instantly renders the man drooling and unconscious. His body drops to the floor. "He's good," Matt concedes. Sounds and smells just like the kind of phlegmy cigar-smoking pig who runs a dive like this. Dribbles spit on my hand and goes limp. It's a good feint. I let him get away with it. No point in questioning him. I know who sent him, and I'm coming for you, Kingpin. Elsewhere, within Fisk Tower, the Kingpin is debriefed by Wesley during his morning workout. "It is indeed behavior of the least normal sort that I observe while pursuing Matt Murdock, as per your advisement, Kingpin." He drops the hotel manager to the floor as one would drop a bag of fish, which one does not want, whereupon he exits said hotel to walk to the 14th Street entrance of the Uptown D train like a man repossessed. I myself gained admittance to the very same subway car as Murdock, there to observe him to be in a state of extreme aggregation. We proceed without incitement to the Pennsylvania Station stop, whereat 3 youths board, brandishing 9mm handguns of the street variety, loudly declaiming their intentions of depraving the passengers of their personal effects. Hereat, one elderly man attempts a frantic disembarkation. One of the youths administrates to him a reprimand that is of the physical nature. And Murdock does nothing. The Kingpin asks, mid-rep. "Nothing, boss. At this moment I now describe, that is. At this junction, the youths do then accost each passenger in turn, admonishing them into emptying their purses and wallets into the D. Agostino's grocery store shopping bag, even as they forcibly require a necklace from the woman next to him. Murdock seems unappreciative of the communal predicament. It is not until he himself faces the business end of one of the aforedescribed firearms that Matt Murdock manifests combat acumen of startling proportion. Leave us say his response is extreme. His first move I am unfortuitously unable to articulate, as I myself am momentarily distracted. Suffice to say, the youths suffer damage of a structural nature to his wrist, then to his ribs, and to his jaw, which makes with a noise not unlike a Coke bottle bursting. As for the second youth, his attempt to withstall Murdock's assault is interrupted by the sudden rearrangement of his spine. It is the last of them who succeeds in firing his pistol, but Murdock is, as I said, a man repossessed. Henceforth, the train comes to a stop at 42nd Street. The doors open, and Murdock whirls at a shouted command. "Lovely," the Kingpin repeats. "This is lovely." The command is of the constabulative variety. Wesley continues. He's ferocious, stupid. Every man is his enemy. The Kingpin, now finished with his workout, stands to his feet, grabs a towel, and prepares to dry off the sweat. "I could not dream of a more perfect hell. I envy you, you blessed little worm. You have witnessed the death of a noble man. The pleasures of his coming attack will be nothing compared to this." "You think he's coming here?" The Kingpin turns to his assistant, and, with a smirk, he replies, "I know it." Hey everyone, this is Corey from The Overlook, where we go over the books you may have overlooked. If you made it to this part of the video, I wanted to say thank you, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. A little bit goes a long way. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of the night.